Hello, Barmy Badger Army, and welcome. Welcome to another On the Bench with me and celebrity DJ Nick Field.
Well, hello there. I don't think this social distance thing is quite working.
No, get over here. So I hope everyone's well. Apologies for the bad camera angles. I didn't bring the selfie stick. I brought the other piece of equipment thingy and it didn't quite pull off. So I hope everyone's all right.
Socially distance the rest of the time.
Yes. What's that eggy whiff? Have you farted?
No, I haven't farted.
It
I
was
fart
me.
a lot, but it wasn't just then.
Indeed. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Chadwick Boseman.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about Canada's Drag Race and Lemon. What else are we going to talk about, Nick?
What are we going to talk about?
Returning to work.
Yeah, we've just had our first work meeting. It's the first time we've stepped foot inside work for like 5.5 months.
Indeed. So that was a long time.
That was a bit surreal.
And what else are we going to talk about, Nick?
What else are we going to talk about? Someone at Disney saw your rant and now it's not going to be £30 or whatever.
Basically, in December, Mulan will be free on Disney Plus, as well as the option to pay for it now.
It's
Right,
because
okay.
they saw your ranty video.
Of course it is. So let's
Yeah.
start off, Nick. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, we kind of started on the whole Mulan thing. It's like worth remembering that no cinema would charge £30 to watch.
This
a
is
particular
totally
film.
true. This is totally true.
And, you wouldn't get a Blu-ray or DVD set for like one film,
No.
unless it was like some kind of luxury edition which came with
That's
a bunch
right.
of extra accessories.
Unless
But
it was a
even
special edition, you wouldn't pay
then-
£30 for it.
Even then, what could you add to something to make it what could you add to it to make it £30?
Just an insane amount of money, I think, and I think they were really stupid. And I think they've now learnt the error of their ways now. I think they've realised that it's an insane amount of money, and they have sort of backtracked a little bit. They are obviously going to be doing that still. They're going to still do the £30, but then they're going to obviously make it free at Christmas. I think, personally, they should have just made it free at the get-go, and then, you know what, that would have made a ton of money in subscriptions. Can you imagine a new film being dropped that's not out at the cinema or anything, and then all of a sudden they drop it on a streaming service? They would have made the money back for the film by all the new people joining in.
Exactly.
But they actually caused a lot of uproar, and people got really annoyed with the fact that they have literally basically said that this is now a bolt-on. We said before we wouldn't create any extra costs, and now we are. So people have been a bit disappointed with the way Disney Plus handled this.
It's like they wouldn't get away with that with a new Star Wars film.
No, exactly.
And that's the sort of thing and people would pay good money to watch a new Star Wars film.
That's very true, yeah.
But yeah, £30 would just be it's just plain exploitative.
And like
really.
we talked about before, unless you've got some really like sort of honest friends that are gonna pay you £5 at the door and things like that, which doesn't usually happen. Like if you invite someone round your house to watch a film, you're not then gonna ask them for money to watch it.
Yeah, I think that's against the law anyway.
Is it? Because
Yeah.
so how does that even work? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then I suppose you're turning your place into a private cinema then, and all that sort of stuff.
It was like one of the things that against, as well as piracy, public performance as well.
That's right, yeah. Oh, okay, so that's interesting then. You wouldn't steal a car. Exactly. So that is very interesting the way they're going to do it. And apparently they are going to try and do that with Black Widow as well. So it's going to be interesting to see the response that happens with Black Widow and that. I'm very curious to see if they just drop Black Widow on there for free, or if they try the £30 thing. There is an idea that it's an extended rent, that it will always stay on your account and stuff. But then if you only have to wait a few months for it to then be free, why would you bother?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, it's like even if it was just something like, I don't know, £10. I don't have Disney Plus myself, so
no, exactly.
I can't specifically say, but it feels like either something like that. I think people would be willing to pay because they'd probably pay that amount to go to the cinema anyway.
Yeah, I mean £10 is reasonable for that sort of thing. That's how much I paid for Sonic and that's how much I paid for Harley Quinn, Emancipation of Harley Quinn or whatever it's called. So, £10 is actually reasonable, but £30, and by the way, both those films I actually get to keep. So it's a bit different with Mulan, I think, where, that's triple the price. I don't really agree with it. I think that's way too much.
Besides, is it even that hotly anticipated?
Well, exactly. This is what I mean. It's not really something I'm going to go, everyone watch Mulan.
I mean, Black Widow I can kind of understand because of the Avengers connection.
Yeah.
And they're probably like the hottest property in.
But this is the thing, and apparently, exactly, it's Marvel's the hot top thing, isn't it? An old Disney film getting a remake doesn't really float my boat. And apparently it's not even got the dragon in. I don't know much about Mulan, but I know that there was like a pet dragon in there for comic relief. The dragon's not even in it, so it's like they're taking characters out and stuff. It's going to be a bit pants.
Yeah,
so
these live action remakes don't actually have a great reputation anyway.
No, I watched
the remade Lion King basically fell flat on its
face.
It
did. I did watch it and thought it was okay. I've recently watched Aladdin and didn't mind it. In fact, me and the boss enjoyed that more than Badger Jr. So it was all right.
I suppose it's kind of appealing to our generation.
That's right, because you look back at it with nostalgia rather than thing. But then why would you pay for a new thing? You could just watch the old film again. I don't know. Very interesting. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you on board with the whole Disney remake live action things, or do you think they're a waste of time? Let us know.
Indeed.
And also, what we're going to talk about quickly is Canada's Drag Race. Lemon got knocked out. Was it unfair or not? I don't think so. I think the people that got left in actually really did really well. Lemon was trying their best, but it didn't quite pull off. And it is a shame because Lemon's a really talented drag artist. But I just think that there isn't enough. They need to work their hardest on this one. About drag performance a little bit. It all depends on the song, doesn't it? Whereas, if you're doing an emotional song, you want to see emotion and things like that. You don't want to see high kicks and all that sort of stuff, I don't think. What do you think, Nick? If it's a slow song, should you do lots of sort of over-the-top action, or should you sort of be emotional? What do you think?
Well, no, because it's a slow, emotional song. That's what what your jaunty pop songs are there for.
That's it, yeah. And this was a slow, emotional song.
Yeah.
So
you can do the clicks and.
Yeah, but it was one of these things where, the rest of them, they were really showing out the emotions and things like that. And I think that's what counted. So Lemon is good, but rightfully knocked out, I feel. So let's talk about Chadwick Boseman now.
Yes, of course, we mentioned the Avengers earlier. It was so sad to hear of Chadwick Boseman's passing.
Definitely, it was really upsetting.
And coming from the acting world myself, I know how much of an inspiration he is to a lot of.
That's right.
To a lot of the young black actors that I work with. I've worked with a few of those. Those of you who've seen what I've been in will know that I've worked with a lot of upcoming black actors. And I think someone like him really paved the way for.
That's right, yeah.
For for those kind of actors, and see that kind of like those kind of roles, good for whatever race you're from.
That's right, and I think obviously I only really know him from Marvel. I've been a Marvel fan for 30 odd years, so it did really, bite me. It really did get to me when he died. Obviously he kept it really personal. He's obviously got a really interesting, a really strong personal life, and he obviously no one knew about it apart from probably Marvel, and they probably had to sign some sort of disclosure agreement because no one knew about it. I think.
Yeah, it was. He worked all through it.
That's it. And that is definitely something that is a big inspiration, a big achievement. I think that's insane that he worked all the way through that and tried his best, and knew he was a big responsible actor with these things. I've seen tons of photos of him in hospitals with kids and promoting the films and obviously helping them through their illnesses, and he was a really strong individual. It is a real shame. It is a real shame. Lots of people are trying to talk about it and they don't really know what to say. I myself have done art towards it to try and rationalise it and think about it as well. But it's a really interesting thing. How have you dealt with it, Nick?
I just kind of, I think, all you can really think is, one thing I always think of is a phrase I often think of is, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened.
Well, this is it.
There's got to be a period of grieving,
Yeah.
We do pass our condolences on to his family and friends, of course. But at the same time, look at what he achieved.
Well, this is it. I mean, he was in loads of other films apart from Black Panther and, Civil War and things like that. But obviously it's good that we got those, and it was such an iconic character. Black Panther is probably one of the best Marvel films ever made. I don't know if you've seen it, but I recommend it if you haven't.
It was highly acclaimed.
Yeah, it's one of the best Marvel films, and I think that it's probably the best sort of superhero film involving a black actor since Blade, the original Blade with Wesley Snipes. So, he is a real inspiration. I mean, Blade actually, obviously people are going to disagree with me here, but Blade was one of the best films of the Marvel genre at that time, and it pretty much kicked off the universe of the Marvel films we see now, because without a really good solid Marvel film like Blade, we wouldn't have got the other films, because the studios just didn't have any confidence in it. If you look at what happened before with all the other films that happened before, like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher film was a bit pants, the Howard the Duck film was a bit pants,
I think that's widely regarded as one of the worst films ever.
All time. Exactly. So, these things are a bit random,
So yes, I hope you can hear us because there's some grass streaming going on a bit further over.
That's it. So there's lots of weird and wonderful things going on. But yeah, so it's one of these things where, without Blade, I don't think there would be a big sort of like Marvel universe that we've got now. And I do think that Black Panther's done the same for this generation. It's alleviated them into something a bit more than just popcorn action flicks. What do you think, Nick? Do you
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I do think so as well.
I think we're at the sort of stage where, where we look at where, we like our fantasy films to be fantastic.
This is it, yeah, but there needs to be more than just popcorn, doesn't there?
Yeah.
There needs to be good acting and all that sort of stuff.
And I think that's the reason why a lot of other films of that genre have not been met with the same amount of acclaim.
No.
It says a lot that Black Panther, managed what it did.
That's very true, yeah, that's very true. You're right there, Nick, yes. Totally agree with you, actually. It does show a lot of inspiration with that. So what are we going to talk about next? We're going to talk about back to work, aren't we?
Going back to work. Well, yes, we're back at work today. Good seeing a few of our colleagues. At least one of them has much less hair than when we last saw him, because he's had a haircut. It's not because it's been falling out because of any other reason.
Oh my God. But yes, basically, things you should do when you're back to work. Right, let's get back on track, Nick. Right, if you're back to work today or any other day recently after the COVID-19 outbreak, you should be able to look at this in a fresh way, be excited for change, look forward to having something fresh happen, and of course, like me, where I've been away for 3 weeks and I've become terribly fat. So now it's one of these things where you need to build up, look after yourself, get confidence again, try and work on your mental health, make sure you're okay with all that sort of thing, and just sort of look after yourself and take time. Don't rush back in. If they give you options to stagger it, definitely take those.
Yes.
What's your opinion, Nick?
I'd say bring your mask, bring hand sanitizer.
That's right.
It's like, I know that governments are saying, yeah, it's fine to go back to work, but
is it?
That's the thing, that it still pays. It still pays to be cautious. Bring your mask, bring your hand sanitizer.
That's right.
And just generally take it seriously.
That's right, definitely still take the 2 metre rule and all that sort of stuff.
There's one guy I follow on Instagram, and he did a story, and he was like, are you still worried about Corona? Is it like, yes I am, or no, I want freedom? Yes, I am, got 64%, and I don't think that was the result he was looking for.
No, because the thing is, it's not about freedom, it's about being safe.
Exactly.
I think people have really got the sort of whole situation a bit skew-whiff, to be polite. It's not about freedom, it's about being safe and looking after yourself rather than, freedom. We're still free. All the shops are open, the cinema's open now, everything's open now. It's just that we're more germ conscious and we're more conscious about what's going on around us and we're cleaner.
Yeah.
If you want freedom to be dirty and not wash your hands, that's fine.
But just stay away from everyone else while you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't really count. It's not about being free, it's about being safe. And, lots of people are going back to a traditional way of life, which we'll talk about in another video, no doubt. And I think that's really interesting, the way that's happened. I really like the fact that that it's gone back to a traditional way of life and people are gone having a bit more interesting topics and doing all different things now, rather than just being glued to the phone and stuff like that. It's really interesting how people have developed their lives over the past few months. And there's lots of interesting things like, obviously, Scotland is still very strict with their lockdown rules and things like that. So it's very polarising for me to come from Scotland and then come back where things are more relaxed. So it's very bizarre, but I'm getting my head around it. But then there's no harm in, operating a stricter, lockdown rule. I think that's a good thing and quite safe myself. What about you, Nick?
I think so, yeah. I think, at the end of the day, we can moan about health and safety all day, but ultimately, we've got to take responsibility for ourselves. And this is, and we are in and we're in a position where, we're having to wear masks, because I actually read a really interesting article. Particles which transmit the coronavirus are bigger than oxygen particles.
That's interesting. So that's why you should definitely wear a mask.
That's why you need to wear a mask. Obviously, if you are exempt, don't just walk around saying, "Oh, I'm exempt." Not that I think.
I'm exempt.
But if you are exempt from wearing a mask, you still need to be careful.
That's very true, because obviously it's still there. So if you choose not to wear a mask, just be careful in other ways is the answer, really. Because obviously, I could tell you, do wear a mask, and I do recommend that. But obviously it's up to you. I'm not going to force it down your throat. If, you don't want to, it's up to you. But just be careful in other ways and sensible. Indeed. So we might as well talk about it now, because we do have a couple more minutes. What do you think? How do you think life has changed with the coronavirus and the way people have been treating lockdown and things like that, and different things that people have been doing?
Well, I think it's given a lot of people a reality check. We've started to think. I think it's like mindless consumption. Ultimately, I think it's been a great way for us just to stop, pause, reflect on things. I just think we shouldn't be in a rush to try and get back to normal. I think, it's a good opportunity to say, what's been going right, what's been going wrong, I think I just think it's time for some good reflection. And I think if you're racing hard to get back to normal, whatever that might entail, then
the new normal.
Then I think you're just missing the point.
And also, you should use this sort of opportunity as a way to reflect and learn new skills, do all sorts of different things, work on things you never had time to do before. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's really good that people are having staycations, they're spending more time with family, less time on the internet, on the phone, all that sort of stuff, and more time just enjoying the simple things. I think it's fantastic. And people are working on their fitness more, they're looking after themselves more, and people are checking in with family and friends more. I think it's great. I think as long as we keep up the messages that we've had from this situation, I think it's fantastic. But yeah, rushing towards being in some sort of new normal is going to only cause trouble if you're not careful.
Not even trying to be the new normal. People just want it to be kind of like, as it was.
But it's never going to be like that, I don't think.
No.
I don't think so.
Especially not right now when we have, the risk of a second wave.
That's it. So, yeah, there are rumours it'll hit in November, isn't there?
Yeah.
So please always be cautious.
We might be put on lockdown before then.
Who knows? You never know, do you? It's very curious. So
yeah. So I would say, have a look. Look at what's working, what's not working, and then think about what changes you can make.
Indeed. Very interesting note. Right, thank you very much for watching Barmy Badger Army. Apologies for the bad camera angles and things like that.
I hope your arm doesn't fall off immediately after this.
It will do. So thank you very much for watching.
R.I.P. Badger's arms.
Indeed, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much for watching, and Wakanda forever. See you later. Indeed, thanks very much for watching, guys, and we're going to try and get on the bench on a regular schedule, but we're not sure what's going on yet, but we'll sort it all out. Thanks very much for watching. See you soon. Bye.